I knew of MaryAnn Black in Durham before I ever met her personally, primarily through her work on the county commissioners. She was one of the principals that negotiated the lease of Duke Regional Hospital, Durham Regional Hospital back then, with the health system back in the late 90s, I think. And sometime after that, she did join Duke to head our community relations post here at the health system. I think at that time I was the CEO of University Hospital, and MaryAnn was terrific at being a bridge, really, between work the hospital and the health system was doing in the community and connecting us to the community leaders and the civic leaders and the political leaders in Durham, with whom she had established a tremendous trust over her time working in the county and working in the city there. So it was really terrific to have someone who was representing Duke, but also someone who was very trusted in the community to be the face of Duke there and really helping us find better ways to be great healthcare partners with our community. MaryAnn would take me and usher me into organizations and meetings and leadership in the community who I did not know. Many programs I did not know existed at the time, which I think really led to greater partnerships and greater cooperation between our interest in promoting health in the community and a large number of organizations that were working very hard, whether it was working side by side, whether it was providing resources to make their work more successful. She was completely instrumental in expanding, at least my expanding my knowledge of the activities that were going on in Durham. Her values really were working for the community to make this community the best and the healthiest that it could be. And that had been the case for years before she ever started working for Duke. It really was her focus and her value and her honesty and the relationships she had built up over years of her work as a civic leader in Durham that really provided the grease for us to really do more things and do more things faster. Her legacy of work for Durham that preceded her employment here at Duke really paved the way for that. And I think it showed the community over and over again that we were um, true partners in this and that we had tremendous interest in strengthening Durham and strengthening our communities, especially in the area of health going forward. And I hope, I'll hope that we continue to improve um, that partnership by following through on the things that we said we were going to do and resourcing the things that we said we were going to resource, and not always having to be the leader in how that's done, but to identify key talented people in the community who needed some help to get things moving and get things started, but then could take it and go with it from there. My daughter came home from college and wasn't sure what she was going to do for the rest of her life, and was working at some small odd jobs in Durham. And I introduced her to MaryAnn to talk about getting a master's in social work, and because I thought that would be a great career for her, knowing her strengths and her interests. And so MaryAnn met with her a couple of times and talked about social work and what it did, what she did as a social worker. And MaryAnn actually wrote her a letter of recommendation to go to Masters of Social Work school over at UNC, which was one of the best social work schools in the country there. And so today, my daughter is a licensed clinical social worker, working in the Department of Psychiatry, doing outpatient child and adolescent counseling, and that was all pretty much due to MaryAnn, talking to her and mentoring her and counseling her. And MaryAnn continued to meet with my daughter intermittently over the years, just to check in to see how she was doing. And I have no doubt that MaryAnn counseled and mentored many other people in our organization and in our community, just like she did with my daughter. Our refreshed focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion would be something that would tremendously interest and excite MaryAnn. She gave me personal counsel on issues concerning race in our institution, in our community, over time, and she would be a tremendous asset now for us if she was still with us, as we try to identify the ways we can improve in the areas of diversity, equity, and inclusion, both at Duke and in Durham and beyond. Not being here, her memory and the impact she did have on many of us can still be a catalyst for that kind of work.